Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we got a big old news blitz. Of course, we're going to be covering everything going on in Canada, especially the narratives that are being pushed by the mainstream. I've seen just some of the most reprehensible, repulsive, disgusting stuff out there. For instance, if you believe in freedom of movement, if you believe in the autonomy of your own body, if you believe in the right to go to work, to have your own business, to go to church, to not be repressed, now you're a Karen. And let's talk about that for a second, because you know, and I know, that if you watch this show, we don't get into, the millennial hip speak that's in the digital verse, right? I don't call people Karens. We don't do FOMO here, right? I'm not a millennial. And quite frankly, I hate most of the language. And maybe that's my old man grumpiness. But the fact that I'm seeing like horrible memes that don't get shared except for from lunatics and bot accounts of truckers with like hairdos on, and then I want to speak to the manager on the truck. The manager, well, you got that part right, because at best, Justin Trudeau is middle management. He is a spokesperson for a sociopathic fourth industrial revolution predator class agenda. That's the reality. And what we're going to do here today is we're going to hit so many stories that you're not hearing in the mainstream media. We're also going to be, showing you basically this is far from over. Oh, I didn't want that. See, I don't want the copyright strikes there. Hopefully, we don't get it right there. I mean, there are now so many people that are not only in support of this, but on their way down, and they want to make it about racism. They want to make it about white supremacy. They want to make it about January 6th. It's their January 6th, right? That's what they want. This isn't even downtown by the Parliament. All right? There were thousands, tens of thousands in that area yesterday. I saw some people trying to report 1 million. I wouldn't go that far. But then again, I'm not down there. And that was yesterday. But look, this is what it looks like when people come together. Okay? This again is what it looks like when people come together and say enough is enough is enough is enough. And I'm telling you right now, if this comes to DC, if these people have a strong will, they're doing this in the middle of winter. All right? They're saying enough is enough. Thank God. Okay? If this comes to DC, I'm going. And this has to be the grassroots Occupy Wall Street type movement that doesn't get co-opted and we don't leave. That's what this has to be. It has to be Occupy times 12, and it's going to have to go against the grain of this already in place track trace database society, its minions, and the technology they're trying to impose upon us, along with the traditional methods of not only false flags, but provocation and media lies. Take a look, folks. This isn't a CGI edit. This is what's going down. Are you going to be a part of history? Anybody not supporting this right now is on the wrong side of history. Oh, yeah, they're all racists and bigots, right? Give me a break. So don't get me wrong, that's going to be the main focus. We are going to be, kind of showing you, like, for instance, this narrative that, January 6th was white supremacy, okay? Is that what this looks like to you? Or it was super violent? Now, there was violence, and I taped some of it. We're going to show some of it. But they made it out that people were armed, that there were Confederate flags everywhere. Take a good look at my shot here. We're doing it slow. And again, the police felt so threatened that, they had people on the edge here. And there were there's another police officer that's officer security standing up there. More police officers in the background. You'll see the video. Yeah, that looks like a real violent insurrection to me. A bunch of guys standing around and sitting on the edge, right? And then the guy leaning over. Boy, those police look so threatened. So threatened. But they're selling us a totally different narrative. That's just one of the many pictures I have. All right, let's just take a look at another one before we really get it started. Again, emphasizing up on the police balcony here. All right, and then we're going to show you some people that hopefully have been arrested because they did commit violence. They did encourage people to commit illegal acts. The whole nine. You see how that works? I'm not a Trump guy. I'm a reality guy. Okay, this is reality. You're looking at it right here. And again, I've yet to see. Let's zoom it out. Where are all these Confederate flags? I must have missed them. They're not in existence. And the same here. I see a cross. I see a lot of red, white, and blue. Here, we'll let you hear some audio with it as well. And we'll pause it right there, okay? And we'll get to so much more. So, before we get going, guys, because we got so many other stories outside of what's happening in Canada. We're going to show videos. There's going to be some video stuff and some stories, okay, we can't talk about here on YouTube. You're going to have to come over to Rockfin. I know, it's so tough. You don't even have to make the account now. You just go to rockfin.com/Jason Burmis and you can watch. You can download the app. It even allows you, once you make an account with the app, to just download all the free videos right to your phone. I mean, you wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't want uncensored Jason Burmis. He covers controversial topics. By the way, we're 3 days away, actually 4 days away, from one of the strikes going away. So if you haven't noticed, I haven't been putting out a lot of content. That's because I really would like to stay on the YouTube platform so I can continue to bring people over to free speech platforms. And with that being said, as we get going, if you are watching this on YouTube, if you enjoy the truth, please thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. We need you over here. We need you sending out these links so people know about the cat videos. We thank Odyssey for backing me up. They've taken my channel 4 times. And I'm not talking about suspended me 4 times. They've taken it 4 times, nixed it. I fought it every time and gotten back every time. All right? This is where you need to be. This is where the uncensored portions of the video, including Alex Berenson on Tucker Carlson saying things he should have said well over a year ago, okay, but is now saying them, and that's important. And we can't play what Alex Berenson says on the YouTube platform. I want to point that out. That's a big no. That's a big no, okay? So make the free Rockfin account as well. If you want to support me, hit that subscribe button. Now, this just came to my attention. You can't subscribe to Jason Burmis on the app or anybody. You have to do it. Even if you make a paid account on your phone, that doesn't necessarily, just because you started at my page, mean you endorsed me or subscribed through me. You actually have to come in onto the Rockfin page, hit that subscribe button, and become a part of it. So support anybody on the platform, and you get everybody's premium content. That's the really cool thing about Rockfin. And we're trying to expand features on there. You got to keep hitting those people and saying, hey, we want these features. We want a better UI, we want a better app, and we want more features that are exclusive to Rockfin. We're on the Getter, and of course, all the documentary films are free. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. Other great way to financially support me is the GoFundMe. The links are down below. Let's get to it. There's a lot, okay? So let's start here. The speed camera nightmare that's coming to America. Now, one of the things that I featured in one of my last videos was the fact that one of the Canadian truckers was already talking about his passport, which was now digital, and him coming up to a checkpoint. And when he went to go show it to have the QR code scanned, he said it wasn't necessary because he already saw the information come up. This along the lines of also Canada openly admitting track tracing and databasing at least 30 million people's movement in that country during this nightmare, okay? I want people to understand, as bad as you think it's going to be with all the cameras for speed enforcement, that's nothing compared to what they really are putting this in place for. What do you mean, Jason? Well, it's not only a track trace database society, it's a tax and movement control scheme. in New York now, and really a lot of the East Coast, even in Florida, everybody that loves the DeSantis, okay, there are a ton of automated systems. When I go visit there, I almost no longer go through tolls where I talk to people, okay? And I don't have an Easy Pass or the equivalent that are all over the place, right? I don't have any of that. Instead, it just simply grabs my license plate and I get a bill in the mail registered to obviously that plate. And that's how it works. Well, we've openly had an administration, okay, vomiting out the authoritarian idea that they're going to tax you by the mile. All right? And this won't just be with devices put in place in your vehicle. It will also be with all of these cameras of control. Okay? And there will be different levels of passes if they get their way that allow you into different zones and different roadways. And again, this would also be equipped with your social credit score. Oh, you might not be able to use the highway, or you might not even be able to get into that region because of your score. Lovely, isn't it? On top of the fact they want to, again, have it in your vehicle. That's what they want, breathalyzers in all vehicles. This is the 2025-2030 agenda. 2025 to 2030 is when they're really going to give it to you. Have you heard? They're real. So I'm going to say it again to all you well-meaning people out there that think Trump 2024 is a good idea because he's starting to campaign. He's starting to go on the road. It's the worst idea ever. It's the worst idea ever. It will be a false hope and prophecy of our doom. All right? You see what's happening in Canada? That's what needs to be happening here. And Canada is a far, far, far away from winning. They literally just stepped up the victory battle. This is it. Okay? They're fighting for humanity. Are you backing them up? Do you realize that also has to happen here? Or what's already occurred in other westernized states will be implemented here as well. Do you get it? I know a lot of you do. I know a lot of you do. And that's why, and again, it sucks that Kid Rock falls into this left-right paradigm. But, he's got the new Let's Go Brandon anthem and all these things. And I never thought that I'd be like, whoa, go Kid Rock. I saw him at Woodstock 99. Fun time. Was never a huge guy into his songs. Went a little soft with the Sheryl Crow stuff. And then the country remixes. Never hated the guy. You know what I mean? One of those things where now, where he's stepping up and saying, you know what? I'm not playing at venues that want mandates that are totally authoritarian, totally dictatorial, and totally unconstitutional. And remember, New York struck down the mask mandates, all of them saying they were unconstitutional, all saying they should have never happened, all saying they did not go through the proper methods where elected officials make a law. They said they were all unenforceable, every one of them. Okay? Every one of them. And yet, so many people have bent the knee that are supposed to be rock and roller rebels. The rebel yell. Yeah. Right? And God bless Eric Clapton for what he has done and said, after realizing what happened to him and what's happening to society. All right? So again, big ups to Rock, man. He's not playing Iowa, but he is playing Illinois. Right now, let me tell you how this works for me. Jason's a bit of a rock and roller. Jason went and saw the Limp Bizkit. Got to hang out with the Rugged Man the night before. I like good music. I like to have fun. I like not to take myself so seriously sometimes. All right? And there are several shows coming up at the Tax Slayer Center, which is right around the corner from me. 10-minute drive. Not even a 10-minute drive. Right? And that's on the Illinois side. And Tool and Korn are coming. Ooh, that's right up Jason Burmess's alley. I believe Slipknot also coming. I won't go to any of them. I'm not showing a test because I'm not taking a test. And I don't have a pass. And I'm not getting a fake pass. And I'm not playing the game. I'm saying no. So when, Kid Rock steps up and does this, we give him a round of applause. Mr. Rock. Moving on. Okay? I think that this is something that really does need to be addressed, because I addressed it over a year ago. All right. Now, Marilyn Manson, probably not a great guy. Probably not a great guy. And we featured him and Evan Rachel Wood in another story, again, well over a year ago. We got somebody spamming? Yep. What's that? So let's get rid of that person. Hide user on the channel. We love spammers, huh? So anyway, Evan Rachel Wood is one of these people that's been in Hollywood a long time. And I commend Alex. I mean, I'm forgetting Alex's last name, and I shouldn't. But he's a great documentary filmmaker. You've seen him in the Bill and Ted movies, obviously, and other things. But he's made a slew of really good documentaries, one of them being Showbiz Kids, which features Evan Rachel Wood and some other actresses out there that were in it very young. And although it's not emphasized, the subject of childhood sexual abuse on Hollywood sets and in those circles is definitely discussed, if not a little underplayed, right? And look, sometimes life imitates art, art imitates life. You know, Marilyn Manson, if you believe Evan Rachel Wood, did some horrific things to this woman. Horrific things. And the latest story is that, like, basically, you know, he had sex with her in the music video they did together. It was actually real. She didn't have consent. She basically filmed pornography without knowing it. But that is, and I mean, that sounds horrific enough, right? That sounds horrific enough. But what really makes it more than disgusting is that, oh man, how do you even say this? It's there were points where she was tied up and told she was going to die with a knife against her neck and things of that nature. So look, man, I realize you got to separate the art from the artist. But if you don't know about the Evan Rachel Wood story, I've covered it a couple times. This will be the third time I've covered it in a video, at least. And something people should look into. You know, it's not all just art. And that's the other thing. People have to be careful what they consume themselves with. I am never for censorship. I want to make that extremely clear. Art is art. Okay? But, you know, you have to understand what some of these people actually believe. And let's put it this way. Is Marilyn Manson a Satanist? You know, he's paraded around and espoused a lot of those type of ideals and gone against the grain in many ways. But when you really look into what Satanism is, it's a do as thou wilt religion of power and control, whether you believe in an entity or not. Does that sound like Marilyn Manson to you? I mean, just saying. You tell me. You tell me. We're going to be moving on because we have so much more to go over here. Infrastructure. So this happened yesterday, okay, or 2 days ago now. And I'll be honest, it does seem a little odd. I was watching Tucker Carlson this week. I believe it was either Thursday or Friday. Did a large piece on the crumbling infrastructure in this country, which you can see. It's very apparent in many ways. And luckily, I moved to an area where they just put in 2 new bridges. They were doing it as I was visiting a couple years ago, and they're now in because it had some crumbling infrastructure. The roads in some places here aren't the greatest, but then I go on the East Coast, it's out of control. And look, I'm not crying. So many people have cried conspiracy theory on this to me, and I'm not going there. I'm just saying what they said happened. And whether you believe, like, I find it hard to believe that this would be something that would be staged. Incredibly, as far as I know, nobody died, which is just incredible in a bridge collapse. 10 people were injured. So, you know, let's play it. Oh, are we not? You gotta love that. Really? And error code. Way to go, internet. So I was trying to give you some shots of that weren't there. Here's where it gets weird. Biden ends up being there. He's like in the area. Now, you know, some people would say, well, this is a move to try to pass his infrastructure bill. His infrastructure bill has nothing to do with rebuilding anything we need. First of all, let's talk about something. You know, everybody asks me, Jason Burmis, oh, what are the solutions to this? Well, one of the biggest solutions that we could have to empower the 300 plus million people that live in this country would be the opposite of what they're putting into place with traffic cameras and taxing everybody, okay? One of the greatest things that Eisenhower did as the president of the United States after being part of that World War II generation and the beginning of Born Classified and seeing, hey, wow, I got to warn people about the military-industrial complex, was built the highway system that they're now trying to take complete control of and basically bifurcate the good people and the bad people away from, right? And regulate our movement. If we wanted to build real infrastructure in this country, we would have a maglev train system here, again, in this country, where people could get from one area on the East Coast to another in a matter of 45 minutes to an hour and commute, say, from New York to Virginia. You get across the country in several hours. All right, that's a reality. We could do that, okay? And first of all, it would be huge for the economy, right? I mean, this is a project that would at least take 5 to 10 years easily, would create jobs, and then more jobs would be created because they're trying to push you into a televerse, right? Into virtual reality, into work from home, into not being together. This would actually physically empower you to be there. You understand? But no, they want to sell you on scarcity. They want to keep you apart. And then they want to bring in not just, you know, this metaverse, okay? That's like step numero uno in the VR headsets and things like that. No, they want a transhumanist agenda where the chip in your head gives you the 5 cents VR that you'll experience. You get it? Do you understand? All right, let's keep going down the line. Now, we talked about how Trudeau said he needed to be isolated because he was around somebody that tested you-know-whatski. Oh, no. And then yesterday, it gets reported that he had to move to a secret location as the protest sparked security fears, report says. Oh, there's security fears. Oh, and by the way, Ezra Levant and his outfit, the Rebel up there in Canada, they're doing a really great job. On the ground. We need as many people on the ground streaming this stuff, putting it on Twitter, putting it on the major social media, putting it on Facebook that's censoring all this stuff, period. We need to let people know that human beings are fed up, and it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. It doesn't matter what gender you identify with. It doesn't matter if you're a blue-collar or a white-collar worker. Guess what you're not? Guess what you're not? You're not a billionaire or a sociopathic, generational, predator class member that has the resources and belief system to try to impose their utter will on you in a techno-fascist medical tyranny. You're not that. If you are that and you're watching this, a big fuck you. How about that? Probably get in trouble for cyberbullying an anonymous person that I don't believe is watching on YouTube. That's it. You've done it, Jason. So this is yesterday, and I'll bet none of you heard it. I'll bet none of you heard it. Let me explain something to people. I live in a place called reality, okay? And after January 6th, and after they had certified the vote, I said there was very little chance that Trump had to overturn it. And certainly, once, he gave his farewell speech and got ready to go and the inauguration was there. And I mean, there were people that wanted to stretch it out till March. They're in fantasy land. And I said, you know what? Eventually in court, a lot of this is going to come out. They're going to say it's unconstitutional. They're going to say votes didn't count. Doesn't matter. It'll take years. The lawfare process, right? Okay. You look at this headline, and it reeks of utter and complete horseshit. Okay. It's totally, talk about fake. This is the Associated Press. Mark Levy should be ashamed of himself by even putting this headline up. What does it say? Court throws Pennsylvania's mail-in voting law into doubt. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There is no law because the judge ruled it completely unconstitutional. That's the headline. It's right here. I mean, what don't you understand? A court declared Friday that Pennsylvania's expansive 2-year-old mail-in voting law violates the state constitution, agreeing with challenges by Republicans who soured on the practice. Like, the first paragraph is disgusting. Okay? And now it's just like in New York. Appeal. We say appeal. And now the constitutional ruling, which threw it out, said it was completely illegal. No longer has standing in the COVID 1984 metaverse. Okay? Do you understand? I mean, do you get it? And again, this headline and even the first paragraph, this guy is disgusting. And I don't have a dog in the fight. I'll tell you again, I don't want Donnie T to run. My goodness. That repulsive. Appeal. It is insane. Insanity. Okay? So, talking about insanity and insane, you would have to be a follower of Yuri Geller and his propaganda and who he is. And again, NASA, this is all a show. See how the show works? The Dancy McDance show. Oh, it's a Dancy McDance show. He's got to prepare for an alien invasion. And remember, NASA just had all those religious figures talking about, boy, what if we had to disclose that aliens were real? Yuri Geller was a fake psychic working for the Central Intelligence Agency. And then, when the CIA realized he was working for another foreign agency, the Mossad, they got rid of him. But you see, guys like him are useful because they use neuro-linguistic programming on you. And listen, hypnosis is real. And a lot of people get hypnotized by the lies of magicians and charlatans. Okay? They're very similar. And Yuri Geller is one of these magicians and charlatans. Okay? You get it? Are you starting to see? So, look, man, just like this whole asteroid and comet stuff and alien invasion, the technology is now there and has been in place for some time that three-dimensional objects would appear real when they are not. Space has been weaponized. Okay? Whether it was a craft from space or a weapon from space, they could say it's any frickin' thing in the world at all. Do not believe the hype. Do not believe Yuri Geller and, get beyond the madness. Look into what real black programs started after World War II. What's really going on underground in places like what? Area 51 and beyond. This is a war on humanity, folks. And the psychological propaganda is everywhere, just like with this. Why the depopulation time bomb facing the West is about to explode, Telegraph. And of course, they're gonna give you the usual talking points. It's because people are living longer and having less children and waiting to have children. And that's certainly part of it. But you start looking at what the numbers are now, and lower and lower is that life expectancy. I still cannot get numbers on how many people, it's now almost February, how many people died in 2021 in the United States. If anybody's got those numbers, I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them, guys. That's all I can say about that. Haven't seen those numbers. And you notice that 2025 number? Okay? As soon as 2025. What's that document? 2025 Future Strategic Warfare. That 2025 to 2030 window, man, they want it. They want it. That's the deal. And this is all propaganda. See, they're not going to tell you about all the drugs in the waters and the estrogen. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Mm-mm-mm. Doesn't matter that, good people like, the Billionaires Club, the Good Guys Club, the Turners, the Gates, the Oprahs, the Bloombergs, the Soroses, the Buffetts. They love us. And they said that they need to do this, but, Ted Turner is in my film, Shade the Motion Picture, talking about a population of 2 billion people. It's grotesque. It's utterly disgusting. I think 2 billion's about right. 2 billion, huh? All right. So right now, again, they want to make Canada about basically this January 6th white supremacy thing. Let's. Oh wow, there's talk radio. They're talking about the mandate protests here. I wonder what that has to say. This is the reality. Take a good look. Okay. 16 hours ago. I mean, that's great stuff. That's the kind of stuff we need. That's groovy, baby. Way to go. We're big time happy, slappy about that. And we've played a lot of the overhead videos. What do we got here? Let's see. So people are picking up trash. Good. Trying to keep it clean. They say they're going to be there for weeks.
We're doing a great job.
Thank God. God bless these people. All right? And now what I want to do is I want to come over here. Okay? And after we show you this, guys, we're going to be going live and exclusive on Rockfin. We're going to be talking about Alex Berenson and Juliana Pena, in fact. But I want to get to this video here because these guys right here, see these? Well, let's stop it. These are the guys and that need to go to jail. The ones that broke stuff, the ones that have canisters that are beating this thing, right? These guys. Take a look. The ones that are breaking the law, the ones that are going inside through a broken window. This guy. Like, who is this guy with a bat and, all that stuff? Who is he? Again, that person should get in trouble. So, on the other side, we're going to play this clip right here. All right? And Berenson's gotten a lot of trouble for it. I've been a big critic of Berenson not going far enough. This is the farthest he's gone. We can't play it on YouTube. It's a big no-no, okay? It's a big no-no. So we're also going to be going over this story. Money grab and just trying to, Juliana Pena just took it to Amanda Nunes. And I'm very proud of her for what she said. She seems like a very strong and intelligent woman. She's a strong woman. Steve from Slow News Day over there in the chat. Good to see him. If you haven't picked him up, he's also over at the Rockfin. But again, we can't play this clip here at YouTube. So if you want to help the program, you come on over to rockfin.com/Jason Burmis. I'm gonna put a little link ski and hutch right in the chat ski and hutch for everybody. And you get to watch Alex Berenson. And he's been demonized for it. And by the way, Fauci and the CDC director were both asked about what Berenson said, and they just totally flipped the script. Maybe we'll play that video too. And they're just like, they just ignored it. They just ignored it because that's what they do. So, guys, come on over to Rockfin. I love you. The links are down below to support the program, but YouTube, we will have